Hi Glamazons, welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal about how luxury boutiques basically are under a ton of pressure right now because the Chinese tourist market is gone. So they have to rely on local clients basically for their products. So I just thought that was really interesting, and it got me thinking about really bad luxury shopping experiences that have happened in the past, you know. And I've also thought about like times when I've gone to luxury department stores with my husband and I've been treated really badly as well. So it made me think about like, how are people treated in luxury boutiques? Are they treated well? And how does this affect how someone feels about a brand if they're treated badly or if they're treated well? Which then got me to the point of Cartier. I would say Chanel is probably the brand that truly people complain about the customer service of that brand. But Cartier as well is a brand that many people have complained on YouTube and on Facebook groups, and of course Purse Forum and all these other luxury forums about how they're treated in Cartier and Louis Vuitton and in Chanel and other brands. So I was like, let me see if there's some truly like what are people's expectations in terms of how a luxury sales assistant or luxury store employee should treat you. I don't know about what my expectations are, but obviously you expect to be treated really well. But at the same time, this is still a business. So I think some people need to be realistic and understand that how you're treated does depend on what you buy. I think it's a bit disingenuous for some of us who love luxury so much to act like, oh, it doesn't really matter. Like, we should all get treated the same even if I don't buy something. Yeah, you should be treated well if you don't buy something, but you're not going to get a glass of champagne if you're not buying anything. Sorry guys, that's really not how retail works in general. That's definitely not how the luxury market works either. So I think that there are some kind of like people's expectations are very, I think, confused by some of these brands. I'm not saying you should be treated like dirt, absolutely not. I think they should treat us all really well. But I do think some people are not being realistic, basically, when it comes to their expectations of how they should be treated. So for me, I was just like, okay, let me just keep reading what's on the Purse Forum here. Like, what are they saying? What's going on? Oh my goodness, there's so much tea in this one thread. It's from a few years ago. I'll post it in the description link. But my favorite post is they're talking about the varying types of customer service that Cartier, basically Cartier treat their clients. So the customer service goes from like being treated really well, you know, like some Chinese clients get Chinese New Year red envelopes if they're good clients. Some get a glass of Cartier champagne. Some are given perfumes. And some are given like cakes on their birthdays or flowers after you visit. Well, obviously these perks are clearly given for Cartier clients that are spending horrendous sums of money. I don't know if it's realistic if you go into the boutique and you purchase a Cartier perfume. I don't know if it's realistic for you to expect to be given a glass of champagne. As lovely as that would be, I've heard the Cartier champagne is lit. But you know, I think you also need to temper your expectations and be realistic, connected to basically what you're getting from a client, from the brand. But obviously, if you're going to be buying love bracelets, I even think even one love bracelet does merit being given a glass of champagne. But from this thread, it doesn't sound like that is something that happens a lot. So I think it's worth thinking about what type of service you expect, but also understanding that luxury store employees go based off a feeling and art. It's not a science. It's not like every single person today who buys a love bracelet will get champagne, or every single person today who comes in to look at the Cartier Panther collection will get something. That's not necessarily how it is. It's based on relationships. It's based on how often that you buy from them, and it's also based on how the person's feeling on the day. I do think that there's certain cities and countries where Cartier will have boutiques that will treat people better than others. Obviously, you know, tourist hotspots like Paris and New York and London, they will probably have a more efficient approach, just because they, at the time before the pandemic, they were really getting so much traffic of people. But there are other places that will probably have a different, you know, sense of service. For example, I'm just checking here just to double check. But yeah, Cartier have a boutique in Monaco. You know, there are all kinds of reviews. Google reviews are very unreliable. But for example, here, someone just wrote and said there was excellent level of service and the staff was really friendly. Someone else here said, that it was one of the worst experiences she's ever had in Cartier, and she felt like the salesman was racist and he was in a rush to put back the watches as soon as they were looking at them. And that's the Cartier in Monaco. Now, I'm just making an assumption. I've never been to Monaco. I'd love to go one day, but I'm making an assumption that that is a very high-end, super luxe, ultra luxurious, you know, boutique for an ultra luxurious location. You know, W. Somerset Maugham, a very famous English novelist who wrote the book The Painted Veil, which was then made into a film, he famously said Monaco is a sunny place for shady people. Now, whether you agree with that or not, Monaco is definitely up there when it comes to luxury. Now, one person had a fantastic experience at that boutique, another person didn't have a great experience. I don't know. I think that I would hate to go somewhere and be racially profiled and be treated like dirt. I've been to a luxury department store that I won't name in Johannesburg, and literally was waiting my turn to pay for some perfumes. I had picked up Elie Saab, I picked up Tom Ford. I was so excited. And then out of nowhere, some woman was trying to queue jump me, and everyone else in the queue was black, and the lady who was trying to queue jump me, I was like literally the next person. She was a white lady, and the fact that I just spoke to her very gently and said that there's a queue here and we all need to queue, because obviously we're all queuing to get the same service, so let's just, you know, take it easy. And I was just kind of struck by how the employees were just so lackadaisical about the whole thing. It's like they assumed that I would let her queue jump me. And I don't blame the client, because clearly that's happened before and employees have not said anything. I blame the employees for not caring about all of us, not just one client, but you need to care about all of your clients, particularly the ones who are spending money. So I think it's a double-edged sword. On the one hand, to be fair, a luxury boutique like Cartier is not like you're just shopping in a normal store buying knickknacks for like £1 or $1 a piece. I think there are expectations. I think if you are window shopping, I don't think it's fair to expect to get like champagne and cakes and all these other fantastic, fabulous things that they talked about on the Purse Forum thread. I don't really know if that's realistic, but I think that everyone has to be treated well. So well is a you know, a very arbitrary word. It could be just you're treated averagely, it could be you're treated really well. From my experience, I think there is a lot of racial profiling that happens in stores by employees. If I ever experience a racial profiling in a branded boutique, such as a Cartier or Chanel, I'll definitely report it here and I'll definitely let them know. But at the same time, I'm not going to like overthink things. If I want to buy something, I'm going to go into the boutique and I'm going to buy it, and that's the bottom line. So I think that's also just like, for me, I think that's something that's just like really, really important as well. So, I mean, yeah, there we go. So what do you think about some of the perks that the sort of elite 1%, the top clients of Cartier receive? What do you think about getting a glass of champagne as you're buying? What do you think about getting sent cakes or flowers by your sales assistant? Do you like that? Do you think it's a bit much? I love all of that. I think that's fabulous. But I think people need to understand that all of this is business first and foremost. I have a beauty e-commerce business, and sometimes we get calls from clients, and our best clients, honestly, for the most part, I understand why luxury boutique owners are rude. Like, I get it. Like, I get it, because they want clients who are going to be spending regularly. So if you're a tourist and you're going into like the Rue du Cambon boutique in Paris, I mean, I feel like, yeah, it depends. The sales assistant might want to offer you like a good chunk, but she might just be like, it's just another, tourist, whatever. I don't know if I care, basically. So I think it's just really important to understand what are your like expectations for how you should be treated, and essentially how do you want to be treated, and which brands stand up for that. I think Cartier I think the Cartier like experience depends on the boutique you go in. I've heard about the London boutiques. Apparently the concession in Harrods is fabulous and people are treated really well there. I think obviously with a brand like Cartier, there is going to be a level of snobbishness. It is what it is. It's high-end luxury jewelry. Some like pieces are worth thousands of dollars, like the diamond bracelet, that's paved in diamonds. So I mean, I think that's a fair point. It's all in what your expectations are. I think that we should all be treated fairly, but I totally understand why luxury store assistants are sizing you up, because they also want to earn a commission and they don't want to waste time with window shoppers or time wasters. And as someone who also has like a sort of premium retail business, even though my business isn't technically like a luxury business, dealing with time wasters when you know someone's not going to buy is the most annoying thing. I know, and I know what you're thinking. How do you know that I'm not going to buy? Most of the time they know. Particularly if you've been in retail or like selling luxury goods or selling premium goods or e-commerce for a really long time, you know who are the real clients and who are the time wasters and window shoppers. There's nothing wrong with window shopping, absolutely not. But do not expect a glass of Cartier champagne if you're just going in to peruse. So it's a tough balancing act. I think that the Cartier employees and all luxury goods employees need to be polite and excited to see you. But most of the time, particularly in business, and anyone who has a retail business can attest to this, on the phone, in person, in literally the first 60 seconds, the first minute, you know if that person's buying or not. And that's been my experience, and for the most part I haven't really been wrong. So I have a more controversial view to the whole rude luxury essay thing. When I get the chance to visit a Cartier boutique soon, once all of this dies down, I'll definitely report back with a review on how I was treated. But I will definitely give them the benefit of the doubt, as long as that I'm not being racially profiled, because I do understand how it is. And I mean, I would love to get a glass of champagne. Who wouldn't, while you're looking over jewelry? So I think that luxury store employees also need to be a little bit more thoughtful. If I can just defend us now as customers, be a bit more thoughtful. And if someone is spending 10K on a bracelet, for the love of God, crack open that bubbly, and crack it open so that they can have a sip and feel like Lady Godiva. I think that's very important. What do you guys think of the luxury shopping experience? What do you think of Cartier choosing which perks to give to which clients? Do you like that? Does that make it feel more exclusive, or does that make you feel excluded? Let me know what you think, and as always,